Welcome to Heartglow CEO, where high achievers evolve into purpose-driven powerhouses. I'm Casey Rossi, your integrative leadership coach. Join us to break free from people-pleasing and burnout, exploring mindset, embodiment, and soul alignment. Discover expert insights, success stories, and actionable tips for holistic wealth on your terms. This is where transformation meets the modern female leader. Let's go. Hey, Heartglow CEOs. Let's talk about growth, but not the hustle, grind, burnout kind. Today, we're diving into something deeper and more lasting. Growth that's sustainable, intentional, and truly aligned with your vision for a joyful, purpose-driven business. If you're ready to ditch the pressure of doing more just for the sake of it and step into a space of meaningful, strategic expansion, you're in the right place. Most solopreneurs feel pressure to keep up with the more is better mindset. Sometimes I plug into a motivational YouTube episode to kick off my day, and occasionally I will stumble along a speaker who is just all about promoting the fast-paced race for us to keep up, stay ahead of the curve, and they're touting that that's the way to win the day. You may have even heard the popular saying, "You can sleep when you're dead." Ugh! That is deadly advice, my friends, but I think you already know that. Today, we're slowing down to ask, what does growth really look like when it aligns with your soul? What does aligning with your soul even mean? Let's start there. To me, aligning with your soul means that it is right in real work that feels pure, expansive, exhilarating, and true for you. When I say right work, I don't mean right versus wrong, but as a manifesting generator, having right work is essential for me to be satisfied. So if that's new terminology for you, manifesting generator, that's just one of my types in human design. That is my main type in human design. So if you caught the episode with Karen Curry Parker, she wrote the book on quantum human design, then that language will be familiar to you. It's really interesting. I'll drop a link where you can figure out what your human design type is. It's a wonderful guide, and it helps you to really tap into what you're looking for, like what fills you up, why you may be getting drained. I find it extremely fascinating. So, little tangent there. But right work for me includes transformation, impact, and giving back. That feels like the trifecta for me. It's also something where I really want to point out that it's very unique. So by knowing yourself more, you are going to be able to create what's right for you. I've also heard soul alignment explained as a complete match to your deepest truth. Isn't that beautiful? It's something deeper, beyond just your mind, and feels more holistically integrated. Once you narrow down on that, it needs to serve you beyond the short term to fit the bill. Sustainable growth isn't just scaling revenue. It's about creating a balanced, fulfilling business that supports your lifestyle, values, and well-being. So just think back for a minute. Remember, you got into business for key reasons. Mine were freedom, creativity, and impact. What were yours? When scaling, staying close to your core drivers and not compromising your values is essential. What does a fulfilling, sustainable, successful business look like for you? Is it having more creative freedom, working with clients who share your values, or building a business that gives you time to spend with your family? Across the board, I hear freedom in the top three, whether it's financial freedom, time freedom, or sovereign freedom. What is it for you? Knowing your why influences every growth decision, making each step feel purposeful and rewarding. Here's where we get real about motivations. Many solopreneurs believe that they want to scale, but scaling without knowing why often leads to feeling unfulfilled. I recently worked with a client who is scaling one of her companies by opening up a previously exclusive product line. She's creating a wise rollout that aligns with her values and overall goals. I commend her for being so thoughtful before putting the pedal to the metal and going full blast. Getting bigger for the sake of getting bigger, that's not sustainable. I've seen countless business associates run after the gold ring too fast and end up sick, divorced, or even out of business. I wrote a blog with a few examples called Sacrifices for Professional Growth. I'll link it in the show notes. I am all for growth when done intentionally. Sometimes your mission changes through the years, and that's perfectly fine. I held on to my chocolate manufacturing business longer than my soul wanted, and it contributed to burnout and frustration. In the beginning, that business was ticking all the boxes when it came to being an entrepreneur. I was working with my bestie, Score. We were one of the largest companies in town which provided jobs. We traveled the world making people and their taste buds happy and aligned with creative women's businesses that valued quality goods. It worked well for many years. And then my personal goals shifted, and I grew, and I started feeling uncomfortable selling sugar. As my personal health journey got deeper, I became more and more out of alignment, and that business didn't serve me anymore. Sometimes you have to turn down good opportunities because they don't make sense for you personally any longer. Those are tough decisions, but worth it in the long run. Take a moment and jot down 3 values or goals that feel essential to your growth right now. When you're clear on what drives you, your growth will feel authentic, and every decision will reinforce your bigger purpose. I also want to mention here that the power of less but better is actually a part of your growth strategy. In our productivity-obsessed world, it's easy to think about doing more as the only path to success, but often it's about doing less with better results and deeper impact. We've talked about this before in the episode on narrowing your niche, but it's worth a mention here as well. When you have a product or service that's performing well, it's an awesome idea to double down on it. Do variations on a theme, bundles, kits, or tack on memberships if it fits. But listen to what people want from you. What do you get the best feedback on? For us in that chocolate manufacturing business, 80% of our revenue came from our decadent dippers, which were 2 pretzel rods dipped in all these wonderful truffle-like toppings. To do a variation on a theme, we'd keep it novelty by having a flavor of the month and unique holiday editions. We created a starter kit that made it an easy yes for retailers that included a shelf talker, free customer tasting samples, and a tidy stand for a clean display. We offered a variety of gift sets for every occasion, from congrats on your new baby with little rattles tied on to corporate elegance packed in wooden crates. Instead of having to manufacture more and more types of confections, we went deeper into what brought us raves and revenue. Make sense? Is there a product or service that you could cull? Are you attached to it for whatever reason, but it really doesn't make the cash register ring, so to speak? Get rid of it. Part of scaling is eliminating the dogs from your line. Keep it right and tight. I see people spreading themselves too thin, not only by offering a huge amount of choices, but also by trying to be everywhere online from Pinterest to TikTok. That is a surefire way to burn out. And it's also not taking advantage of your strength. You want to be so present and strong. And like Cal Newport says, be so awesome that they cannot ignore you. And that's really challenging to do when you have 100 SKUs and you are on a dozen social media platforms. Something really important is to test and measure where your audience is and what they want from you specifically, and then create a groove. You will build your brand with that groove and get referrals to boot. Now here's your invitation. Choose one project, product, or service that you could focus on either improving or marketing more effectively, instead of adding something new. Growth doesn't mean piling on more. It can mean refining and enriching what you already have. Crafting your intentional growth plan. When you're clear with your core drivers, next I want you to ink what you'd like to see for yourself and your business over the next year. What part would you like to expand? In what way? How much revenue would you like to see from it, and by when? What do you have to let go of to make it happen? What resources, time, money, skills, expert advice will you need to be successful? Great. Next, set priorities. Focus on a few high-impact actions that will move the needle in the next 90 days. I'm a big fan of quarterly goals. I also want you to build in check-ins. Creating regular times to reflect, monthly and quarterly, can help you stay aligned and adjust course when necessary. I offer a quarterly strategy session, which in a 90-minute meetup, we outline your goals, marketing plan, and action steps. So reach out to me if you'd like guidance on that. Remember, small, consistent steps towards aligned goals are more powerful and sustainable than short bursts of frenzied effort. We've all been there. This reminds me of a podcast that I was recently listening to from neuroscientist Dr. Tara Swart. She said it's better to change 10 things by 1%, not one thing by 10%. That made me stop to think about it, and I like it a lot. Sustainable growth requires patience, but it's also deeply rewarding. Trusting the process means understanding that setbacks are a part of the journey and that every step forward, however small, contributes to your ultimate success. Remember, my friend, you are not just building a business. You're building a life that supports your passions and purpose, and that takes time, grace, and resilience. Every aligned decision you make today builds the foundation for the lasting impact that you're creating. And maybe you're not seeing that impact. And I just want to promise you that if you're putting in the effort, that impact is there. Whether you can see it right now or not, I promise you that you are influencing people in a positive way. So keep going. All right, as you ponder today's thoughts, identify one area where you can slow down and trust more, whether it's a project, client relationship, or yourself. That's a powerful step in the process. How does it feel in your mind, heart, and gut? Getting yeses in those wisdom zones, coupled with diligent R&D, you will be unstoppable. Here's the recap. The path to intentional, sustainable growth starts with deep clarity on your soul alignment, values, and core drivers. Focus on amplifying your number one seller, let go of products or services that don't add value, and cultivate the resources, whether time, skills, or capital, that will fuel your vision. Next, prioritize with purpose. Set 90-day goals that are clear, actionable, and meaningful, then commit to regular check-ins to stay accountable and aligned. By moving forward with consistency, intentionality, and grace, you're not only scaling your business, you're building a life that reflects your highest vision. I want you to just pause and think about that for a moment. You're the creator. You are building a life that reflects your highest vision. Trust that every thoughtful step contributes to a foundation of lasting success. Okay, HeartGlow CEOs, I hope today's episode has inspired you to approach growth with purpose. Sustainable, intentional growth isn't a sprint. It's about creating a business that feels right for you. Trust yourself, trust the process, and let your growth be as joyful and fulfilling as the vision that started it all. Until next time, my friend, breathe joy.